Howdy ho YouTube, Major Cord here, and right before you see the Spyderco Tenacious. However, because this knife has been talked about ad nauseum on YouTube, I'm not going to talk about it. Instead, I'm going to talk about the awesome new blue Spyderco Tenacious, because I love blue things. So, these knives are essentially identical, except for the fact that this has blue handle scales. So, to review this knife, we're going to pretend that, yeah, they're the same knife. So anything I say about this knife will apply to this knife. If I roll it in for comparison, if I need to, I will, but we're just going to lay him off to the side here and get on with it. So, Spyderco Tenacious, a fucking awesome EDC blade. You have, I think it's a 3.38 inch blade of HCR13 MOV steel. That's a perfect length for me. It's not too big, not too small. I guess if you really wanted to, you could push it into a tactical roll. I don't really care about that. The shape is a very nice shape for EDC. You have a almost traditional Spyderco leaf shape. It's a very wide blade with a good amount of belly. And HCR13 MOV is a steel that I like. I have a ton of knives in this steel, so I've gotten to know it really well. I know the sharpening characteristics. I know about how long it can go between sharpenings. And I just like it. It's a good middle-of-the-road steel. And this one, which is fresh from Spyderco, has a wicked edge on it. It's a lightsaber right now. So, that's always good. And it sharpens up really well. As you can see, this one, and actually both of them, have the laser-etched Spyderco bug on it, as well as Spyderco and the blade steel, and the China marking. So this is a Chinese-produced knife, but don't let that turn you off. It is a fantastic blade. And now that they're being offered in multiple colors, as dealer exclusives or sprint runs or something like that, as well as the traditional black, I think they're just an awesome value. They're part of the value line of Spyderco's, which is different from the bird line. So this, you actually get the traditional Spyderco branding as well as the actual hole, instead of the bird comet hole and a whole different brand name, for a decently low price. So the normal Tenacious runs in about $29 or $32. This one cost me $36, so it's a couple more dollars, but you get really awesome handle scales. I mean, look at that blue color. Isn't that sexy? I mean, if you like blue. It also comes in a green, which my best friend who is addicted to green describes as a military green. I asked him what the difference was between that and olive drab or Kelly green, and he said, shut up, there's a difference. So, there you go. I'll compare it to my other blue Spydercos here. I have the blue Endura and the blue UK PK. So the blue here, as you can see, is a different shade from these knives here. The Endura is more vibrant, and the UK PK is actually slightly duller blue than the color that the Tenacious is. So there is a bit of differentiation here, and I like that because it's not like they use one set color of blue. So each of my blue Spideys is a bit different. But the texture of the G10 is actually slightly more grippy than my black version. This I'd call a low traction G10. This I'd almost say is medium traction. It's still not going to tear up your pocket, but it does offer you a little more grip. So that's always nice to see. I think the pattern is actually slightly different. Let me see if I can zoom in and show that. Like if you... Nope, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. The pattern is slightly different, and I did notice that. And while we're zoomed in, if you look, you can also see the hardware they chose this time around is different. The original Tenacious has these weird, almost hex, almost Torx bit screws, which are not fun to try to disassemble and take apart. The new blue Tenacious has just plain old Torx screws. And, for the pivot and the body. This one, however, uses those crappier screws. So that is nice to see. Yep, they even did it on the pocket clip. Because I remember I had to go out and buy 2 sets of screwdrivers to change the pocket clip for this knife originally. When you get this knife, the pocket clip will come tip up, or tip down. So that'll have to be changed if you prefer it like I do to orient in this position. But other than that, you know, this knife is really set to go. Another thing I noticed about the blue one is that it has a much stronger detent, allowing nice tricks like this to be done a lot easier. As you see, this one is slightly softer, on the middle finger deploy. However, neither of them shake out readily, you know, so that's not an issue. Lockup on both of these is stellar. I mean, you're not getting any blade movement. So, these are good, solid knives. For the money, 30, 36 bucks, you really can't go wrong. Both of these have phosphor bronze bushings. I don't know, can you see that in there? I know on this one I think you can. Maybe? Or you should be able to in there. My lighting is terribly harsh. But there are phosphor bronze bushings. So this is decently smooth. This one needs some oil. But it is decently smooth. I did put a lanyard on this. This lanyard is actually part of my prize package from Man's Gear. So I do want to thank Mike for this. It is a wonderful paracord lanyard which matches the paracord bracelet. So that is quite awesome, and I'm glad I have a lanyard that matches this knife. So I'm not normally a lanyard guy, but I think in this case the lanyard really looks good with the knife, and since this is more of a limited edition knife, I'm not sure I'll be carrying it often. So having a lanyard on it really just looks cool. And it's something that looks good in the drawer, and if I do choose to carry it, it'll be fine. Pocket clip. I don't think I've seen this type of pocket clip on Spydercos very often. I mean, I know within the value line itself they use it, but like the spider wire clip here, or I think they call this the hourglass clip. You see these on a lot of different Spydercos. But this particular pocket clip, I don't think I've seen this on any Spyderco outside of this value lineup. And I like this clip a lot because the mounting points are spread out. And you get no clip wiggle, which is really nice, as opposed to the clip on the Endura here where they're all up top. You can get clip wiggle. Not that that really bugs me, it's just I like this design slightly more. But both of them have really strong clips, which is awesome. Let's see, is there anything else I can really say about this, other than that you need to buy one? At this point, I really don't know if there's anyone in the knife community that hasn't at least... That's wonderful, I just got stabbed by an arrow. No, I'm serious. I just got stabbed by an arrow that fell off the desk here. I don't know if there's anyone in the knife community that hasn't at least considered buying a Spyderco Tenacious. Maybe they've been put off for one reason or another. This black Tenacious was actually my first real Spyderco. I had owned the Bird line, the Caracaras, for some time, but the Tenacious was my first real Spyderco, and it got me hooked. From there, the addiction just took off, and I own several now. But the Tenacious, I think, is a really good entry-level Spyderco, and now that they come in blue and green, and I think the Ambitious is being released in this same color blue through the same distributor or sprint run line, something like that. I'm not sure, actually, if this is just a distributor special or an actual sprint run, and I'm not sure what the differentiation is for that. All I know is that these colors, I think, are limited. They're not a permanent addition to the line. So if you really do like these colors, the blue or the green Tenacious, snag them while you can. I got this from NotJustKnives.com, and I've seen the green one listed at Blade HQ. So pick them up, get them while you can. The black Tenacious has been around forever and probably still will be around. This is not going anywhere. This is a very popular knife for Spyderco. And I have no doubt that these will be too. But they're not going to be around for forever, so pick them up. I highly recommend both of these knives, and even though I don't have experience with them, I do say the persistence, the ambitious, or if you really like huge knives, the resilience. Just this whole family of knives, if they're anything like the Tenacious, they're going to be really well built, they're going to be solid performers, and they're going to serve you well. And for the price, you're going to get a lot of knife for your buck. So, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more.